So it's day number 2 of simplifying our expressions. We hit the basics before, kind of the individuals. Now we're going to start to load up and start to see this in action. Now, there is one other person that we have not met that does kind of pop up here from time to time that we want to familiar ourselves with, and that is our negative exponents that we're dealing with. So the big thing that we want to keep in mind is all a negative exponent means it's a fraction. So x to the negative second power is really 1 over x to the second power. So the best way that I can kind of explain this to you is a negative exponent means that it needs to be moved. It's kind of like a reciprocal in a way. So if you've got it in the numerator and it's negative, it's got to move down to the denominator. If it's in the denominator, it's got to move up to the numerator. And that's kind of what this is. X to the negative second power, it's up in the numerator. We can make anything a fraction by putting a 1 underneath it. So if they gave me something like 1 over x to the negative third power, then we would say, hey, it's just x to the third power. And remember, that's because technically it was downstairs in the denominator. It's a negative exponent. It needs to get moved upstairs because technically it's over a 1. But hey, as we've seen in math, when it's a whole number, we don't have to put the 1 in the denominator that's there. All right, so let's start to blend these together and let's go through it. So let's take someone like x squared y cubed over 2 x to the 5th y and then z. All right. Oh, wait. And all of that's going to be raised to the negative second power. Yeah, there we go. So we did tell it today too, people. All right. So the first thing we always want to do here is we always want to simplify. Okay, anytime you can simplify a fraction, that's the best way to go. And the same thing goes for these particular monomials that we've got. All right, so I'm going to ignore the negative second power. All right, right out here, we're just going to, hey, it's not there. Let's just work inside the parentheses and let's do any simplifying that's there. So, for example, I just have a 2 down there, the plain old numbers. I like to handle the numbers first because it's when I switch between numbers and exponents, those rules, that it can become frustrating. So I'm looking at that 2. It's got no one to play with, so it's just going to stay down there in the denominator. And then I'm going to look at my x's, and I see an x to the second power. I see an x to the 5th power. So we are dividing, so I'm going to subtract. 5 minus 2 is 3, but more of them are in the denominator, so it's x to the 3rd power. I'm looking at the y's. Hey, 3 minus 1, more of them are up in the numerator, so that's y to the 2nd power. Some of you like to sneak that 1 in there to help you out. And then the z's got no one to play with, so it's just going to stay down there. Now, we are all raised to the negative 2nd power. So now we're ready to deal with that negative exponent. Now, some people will say is, hey, send that negative exponent in to visit everyone. And you can, but I dislike dealing with the negatives because all I'm going to do is flip my steps. All right. We know that when we have a negative exponent, it's going to flip it. So let's take care of that right away. Let's put the 2x cubed z up in the numerator, the y squared in the denominator, and now it's just to the 2nd power. See what I did there? We flipped at the beginning, all right, because I knew it's going to be a negative exponent. Now, again, we can send it all through, but this way now I'm just dealing with positives. So 2 to the 2nd power, that's a 4. X to the 3rd power raised to the 2nd power, we're multiplying here, x to the 6. Z to the 2nd power, yep. Again, if you want to put your 1 in there so that you can see it, all right, so that's fine. And then we got ourselves y to the 4th power. And we're done with it. You see, if I went the other way, I would have to send this negative 2 in to visit everyone. And now I've got y to the negative 4th power over. And now I've got 2 to the negative 2nd power. And I just got all these negatives, which kind of makes it a little bit more frustrating here. So you can see there that y to the 4th power did go down to the denominator. 2 to the negative 2nd power, well, 2 to the 2nd power is 4, but I got to move you upstairs. There you are. X to the negative 6, I got to move you. Z. So again, it's a comfort level in what you see. The biggest thing in these simplifying is don't feel like you always have to be done in one step. a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. Ah, I've got it. Don't feel like you've got to take care of everything at once. All right, so let's give you one to try here, and we'll see what you can do with it. It's a lot of silence, isn't it? Hit that pause button, give it a shot. All right, so like we said before, simplify inside those parentheses first. And that's the biggest thing you can take care of. So the 3 over the 2, remember I like to take care of the numbers first. Can't do anything with it. 3 halves doesn't simplify. X to the second over x to the 8th. So that'd be an x to the 6th in my denominator. I'm subtracting, and more of them are downstairs. For the y's, 5 minus 2 is 3. There's more of them in the numerator. And the z's, gone. That's another reason why I like to simplify at the beginning, is because now I don't have to deal with the z's with that negative third power. All right, so it is to the negative third power. So what I'm going to realize here is, because it's a negative exponent, that's going to flip everyone. So it's just going to be 2x to the 6th over 3y to the third. And now we're just raised to the third power. Positives. We're in a good spot here. All right, so 2 to the third power, that's an 8. 3 to the third power, 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27. Like I said, I like to handle the numbers first. Now I'm in exponent mode. So we're going to multiply, so that's x to the 18th, y to the 9th, and we've got it there. All right, let's try another one here, and let's see what you can do with it. Get some blank space here. All right, so let's go with 4 x to the negative second power, y to the fourth power, over 3 x to the negative fifth power, y to the negative seventh power. And we're going to raise it all to the second power. Okay, so like we talked about here, clean up what's up on the inside first. All right, so numbers-wise, 4/3. Oh, and by the way, you think you got it? Hit the pause button, people. Give it a shot, and then hit the play. All right, that's fine. So I like to rewrite first. So I found that if I try to do too much in my head, that's when mistakes happens. Because it's a negative exponent, it's got to get moved. So x to the negative second power, you're going downstairs. All right. X to the negative fifth power, you're going upstairs. Y to the fourth power, you're positive, you get to stay put. And then y to the negative, oh, you're upstairs, so there you are. And again, we're all to the second power. Now, I still have more to clean up in here. So that 2 on the outside, just keep them out there for right now. 4/3, nothing's going on there. Let's subtract. So that's going to be x to the third power. And then, okay, all right, multiplying, so we're adding, so that's y to the 11th power. Now I'm all raised to the second power. Nothing else to clean up inside that fraction, so now we're ready to go. Send it on in. 16 ninths. Again, 4 to the second power, 3 to the second power. Now I can work on my exponents, where I'm multiplying my exponents. So that's x to the 6th, and that's y to the 22nd power. And now I've got myself my answer. All right. So the big thing here is simplify inside those parentheses. Negative exponents, let's flip it. All right. Even if the negative exponent's on the outside, because it has to visit everyone, let's just flip it right away. So we've got that taken care of. We'll see you later.